Okay, so we are going live tonight with our friends on the TikTok. So you guys, welcome to Special Education Academy, our Tuesday night live coaching call. For the next 2 weeks, we're not going to be doing a series. We're doing a straight Ask the Advocate. So whatever questions you have, put them in the deal of the thing of the Q or the Z or whatever. And it's going to be exciting. And welcome, welcome, welcome. If you guys have a question on the Academy, just raise your hand and I will call you in the order that you raised your hand properly. I don't know how to raise my hand. This is how I raise my hand. Although one time in Virginia, they made me raise my hand. And she goes, raise your hand and then wait to be called on. It was heavy on the T. So there's that. And Clarissa, I'm going to be with your friends tomorrow, but in a different elementary. 2 words, reconvene. Is that 2 words? I don't think it is. Okay, so if we haven't met, I'm Karen Mayer Cunningham, Special Education Boss, helping train everyone who sits at the 504 IEP table to navigate and negotiate successful student outcomes. And so we're doing this 2 weeks of just Ask the Advocate. I know you guys have amazing questions. I have a list of questions here that I have from when I do professional development in school districts. And I give them full reign to ask me whatever they want to ask me. And they ask me like right to the point questions because sometimes advocates are not super welcomed into school districts. I have no idea why. It's probably not me. It's probably somebody else. And we kind of talked about this last week. And part of that reason is because advocates, just in case nobody told you, if you're a good advocate, I am here to audit your paperwork. Let's just clear that up. It's not personal. It's business. And it's the business of educating children with disabilities. And so here's what I know. If the paperwork is not right, I can't expect any product to be right? Because we developed an IEP document and then at some point somebody else is going to take over, right? And even if we all knew exactly what it meant, kids are never paperwork. And so the paperwork has to be pristine. And so advocates love kiddos. Advocates love schools. There's only one side of the table. There's only one focus. There's only one outcome, and that is successful student outcomes for kiddos with disabilities. And what I know is when we give them the services and supports that they need, they win and everybody wins, right? When we give them the correct supports and services, it's easier for everybody that teaches them, right? Not just the student, but the professionals that are supporting them. So we're going to go over some questions. And then if you guys have questions on the great TikTok, just let me know. And if you have questions on the great Academy, just let me know. So question number 1, this is kind of funny. What 2 songs best describe you? Well, it depends on what time of the year it is. Probably I came in like a wrecking ball and brick house. You're probably not old enough to know what either one of those are, but feel free to put them on your next video. And I said another word that wasn't the word, but she corrected me. I thought it was a PG song and she said it was not. So I don't know the young kid songs. Okay, it says people across the country reach out to you for assistance. What would you say are the top 3 reasons that people reach out to you? And I can tell you, they want somebody who's telling them the truth. And so if you're a school-based member watching this, and we love that 2/3 of you on the Academy are school-based members, just tell people the truth. Just honor mom and dad or grandma enough to just tell them the truth so that they can digest it, and then we can make an informed decision as a committee. I see one of 2 errors in school districts. I see omission and then permission. Those are both 2 types of lies. So the lie of omitting something makes me want to bonk you on the head with a pool noodle. When I see omission in paperwork, and I see it all the time. So I was prepping a little client that I have tomorrow, and this is his file. This is his brand new file. And nothing matches. See, an advocate, and you're all advocates, however you sit at the table, is there to make sure that the entire document is commensurate, right? That the evaluations match the eligibilities, match the PLAF, and we all know the 3 Ps of the PLAF should be prescriptive, pristine, and more importantly, puffy, right? If your PLAF is not at least 3 typed pages long, if you do not spend 50% of the IEP meeting on the PLAF, you're wrong. You're wrong. You've always been wrong, right? So that's the way it has to be so that we can get it right for kiddos. And so parents want to know the truth. They want to know the whole truth, whatever that is. They don't want IEP team members just to gloss over it and go, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Yes, I have. Like, what are you talking about? Those are my questions, right? And so make sure that we are doing that and that we're doing that with fidelity, right? It is when you are integrous and do that which your certification requires of you, whether you're a general ed teacher, special education teacher, related service provider, principal, all the others, parents really will appreciate it, right? There's nothing worse than when I get a client and they find out that they have been misled, lied to for years. That makes them unhappy. And so if we have the truth, if we have the totality of the data, then we can collaborate as a team to make decisions together. The second reason that they reach out to me is that they feel pressured in IEP meetings. That pressure could be everything from simply, I don't understand. Maybe this isn't my native language. We live in the great America. Not everybody's initial or primary language is English. They're pressured to come to your meeting at your time because you said so on Tuesdays on the third week of the month. They find out that they have the right to make decisions later. And so we don't need to pressure parents. It's their child. It's not your child. I don't care if you're the world's greatest teacher. You are not the owner. And the federal case law always teases out that the parent is the expert in the child with a disability. Not you, not me, not an attorney, but the parents are the experts. Please don't ever forget that. And that the third reason that they call us is it's very laborious and it's very taxing and it's very overwhelming to a different degree to be the parent of a child with a disability. And whether you believe that's true or not doesn't matter, right? 88% of families that have a child with a disability get divorced. 88%. And I'm one of them. And the last thing a child with a disability needs is for their parents to get divorced, right? It's hard enough advocating for a kiddo when both parents are on board. And so you don't have any idea what they go through. But you can be empathetic. We're not asking you to be sympathetic. No special needs parents want you to feel bad for them. I've never met those parents. But be empathetic that they might be walking through something that you may not have the totality and knowledge of the depth and breadth of what they're going through. You are not sitting in your house thinking about when they're 65, you'll be dead as a parent with kids in general education. I had two kiddos that were in general education. I actually had two kiddos that were National Honor Society students and one kiddo in special ed resource. And they all three gave me the same amount of gray hair, right? But you consider that other child in a way different than you do with a child that's in general ed. And so I've always described special ed as a death with no funeral. And I think that that kind of depicts it because there's no end to it, right? Whether it's a reading deficit or they're greatly impacted by their disability functionally, physically, cognitively, it affects everything that will happen in the rest of their lives. And so we're asking that all members extend grace and co-membership in the IEP process, and it will go a million times smoother. And then there wouldn't be a me. I had an attorney tell me one time that the only problem in special and I know that 99% of people, we love teachers. God bless teachers. You potty trained my child in 1997, and thank you because I was way too busy to do that. We love teachers. God knows that you are grossly underpaid and micromanaged, and we are here to give a voice to teachers too. We are here to give a voice to change at state levels so that states fund education and special education. Okay. It says you've been an advocate for several years. I started when I was a toddler. What's your philosophy on special education? And my philosophy is when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. If we don't have it right for the child, I can tell. And here's something you may or may not like. It doesn't really bother me either way. When there's a problem with outcomes with the child functionally, emotionally, behaviorally, academically, cognitively, communicative, socially, it's OE. It is operator error. And the operator is not the child with a disability. It's not. I've never, ever, in 1,000 years of doing this, I came over on the ARC, ever seen a kiddo that couldn't learn with the right supports. I just haven't. But I've seen schools that don't staff classrooms, which is not the teacher's fault or the special education teacher's fault, not give the student a smidgen of what we negotiated for. Okay? Please share some specific things that districts and schools have done exceptional, that you were impressed by, and that resulted in a great IEP meeting. I think if I was sharing with a school-based member and I was doing a professional development right now, I love, and I'm shocked, I shouldn't be shocked, schools that actually reach out to the parents. And listen to me, reach out is not an email, muffin. I know that we are young and we're all high tech. Not me, I barely know how to work my cell phone. But sending an email is not reaching out. If I send an email to Janet and say, oh, she didn't come over for Thanksgiving, that's not reaching out. Let's be very clear. Reaching out is saying, hey, Quinn, can we just jump on a Zoom for 10 minutes and I can get your input for your kiddo's IEP meeting? Hey, Janet, can we just jump on a Zoom real quick and get some input for your kiddo's IEP meeting? Because parents want to connect with you. They come to your place of business and they walk into a room and they have the worst seats. So if I was in a school and I ran a school, I would make every school-based member get up and let the parents pick their first seat, right? I don't want to sit with the projector in my left eye at the worst chairs that have a broken leg, right? Pretend that they are the guest of honor and you will have totally different outcomes, okay? In your experience, what sets apart a well-collaborated process from one that is not? I can tell you, you provide the parents a full draft copy of the IEP document. The F in full stands for full, the whole thing, right? I had somebody send me a draft the other day. They were so proud of themselves. It was, I feel like you're missing the other 56 pages. Literally, when I got it back, pages long. So it assumes incompetence when you don't provide the parent with a complete document. And it's offensive, right? Oh, we can't do that. We just can't do that, Karen, because we're just so afraid that the parents wouldn't understand what they're reading. Really? That they wouldn't understand what they were reading? It's about their student. We can't do that. We just can't do that. It's predetermination. No, predetermination is when we have a conversation that you didn't invite me to and you never moved your position based on my quality input. So it's much better if you're transparent because parents have equal team membership. There's two procedural safeguards. One says that parents were denied IEP team membership and parents were denied meaningful participation in the IEP process. So equal IEP team membership means that we're both equal members, me and all 27 of you, right? 27, 28. It doesn't bother me. It does bother some parents, right? But you have to provide them the same amount of time to prep, digest, and articulate what you're reading and to make informed decisions. You had a meeting ahead of time. You met with everybody. You had a staffing or you didn't. I don't know. But sliding a piece of paper over going, hey, listen, Laura, if you could just sign this because, Martha, she has got to go. We made regionals in basketball. That's not okay. It's gross. This is a child's future. And so when I'm in a meeting and it's rushed, and y'all know I don't rush my hair color, don't rush my outfits, and we don't rush an IP meeting. When somebody rushes me, I just go, listen, it looks like, Shannon, that you are really busy today. I got it. So let's look at a time to reconvene. Because I'm not going to rush making a plan ridiculously amazing for the next 36 instructional weeks. We have another meeting. I certainly understand that. So let's look at a time to reconvene. Because the meeting that you have to get to is just as important as this one. And so when you collaborate, co-labor, we're both in labor, and we're going to get a baby. When you collaborate together, you're going to have successful student outcomes. I promise you, right? Parents want to have one meeting. We love you. We don't want to have another meeting. You know why? Because we have to put on a different outfit, right? We don't want to take off another day from work. Let's just do it right from the gate. As my mama said when I was little, it takes the same amount of time to do something right as it does to do, I won't tell you what she said, but halfway, okay? So let's just do it right the first time, okay? Next, what areas do schools need to improve upon? I would say a gross, comfortable talking about laws that you don't know what you're talking about. There's a thing called UPL, and you can be sued for it. It's called unlawful practice of law. So IDEA, the Individual Disabilities Education Act, is 115 pages long. And I will bet at least 3 blazers, I don't want to go crazy, that you can't find somebody that's been trained in 40 hours of IDEA. You won't find them. You know why I know that? Because I go and train school districts, right? So when you bust out, and we are bound by that, and we're just, we would like to, but we can't. I just went, don't lie, because that candle is called pants on fire, and it stinks. Nobody wants to smell that, right? And if it's the truth, then you can provide it to me, and you can screen share your imaginary law, right? And the reason teachers are frustrated when we put out valuable content is because somebody lied to them for 20 years. They just assumed that Christina was telling the truth because she assumed that Bonnie was telling her the truth. And it's not okay, which is one of the reasons that we have this channel. We have YouTube. I mean, I don't have YouTube. I mean, I'm buying it. I'm buying it later this week. So we have videos on YouTube, Special Education Academy. We want you to be informed. This is not a aha, you're a loser channel. That's not what we do. We want you to be informed so that everybody rocks it out, because special education kiddos are just kids that just need a little more education than general ed can provide. It's not a dirty thing, right? When reviewing a proposed goal, what's the first thing you look for? Where the heck are you going? Like what are you doing? What is the goal for? I just read a goal. I won't read it to you. Of course I will. No, I won't. I don't know what he was doing, but by the time the goal is over, he will be the valedictorian, even though he doesn't talk. I mean, you just have got a run-on paragraph. The goal should say, and I know you guys in the Academy love this, let's do it together. I'm at 100 Main, and I'm trying to get to 100 Elm. And how am I going to get there, right? So when you just have he's going to do this with 3 prompts while facing north during deer season, if I let him while holding his fidget, what are you talking about? The IEP goal is to identify a deficit. What is one deficit, right? And what is the skill that I'm going to teach to address the deficit? We have one requirement in special education, and that is to what? To teach a child with disabilities strategies to self-manage their disability, right? But this, I have no idea what that is, right? The next thing, and I want to tell you, my loves, because I love all of you, whether you and I end up in court together or not, still love you. You are likely to have an Office of Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Education complaint coming your way soon. We are training a sea of special education bosses, and we would love for you to be one of them, on how to effectually use that instrument that's available to parents called the U.S. Department of Education Rights. And the cases that I have open for them are the IEP was not implemented, that they are getting general professionals, and that's happening. We all know it's happening too. So not only you're not providing special ed, you're making it worse. Number 2 reason to open an OCR complaint is you didn't track the accommodations. So let me just help you out because I love everybody. 48 accommodations, it's a mistake, right? So you really think that Tina does 48 accommodations and she says, good morning? No. Tina is trying to make sure that her Panera Bread order is in and that she gets her class to sit down and stop bonking each other on the head, right? So I would never recommend it as an advocate or anybody, my team members, to have more than 9 accommodations. But whether you like it or not, and I will just keep yelling it until you keep flopping on the floor, you have a legal responsibility under OCR, the Office of Civil Rights, to track accommodations. If you don't think you do, why don't you call them ed@gov.gov. ed@gov.gov. Okay? So I didn't write it. But I didn't write the law. If I wrote the law, we would all get pink sparkly things with it and woohoo, right? You have to track accommodations. So the federal government doesn't care about your feelings, doesn't care if the advocate was nice or not nice, doesn't care if the mom is cuckoo, and most of my parents are cuckoo because they're parents, right? You either tracked the accommodations and you can give me a photocopy of it, or you didn't, right? So as the great Pete Wright said, it either is written down or you didn't talk about it, or it's written down, or it didn't happen. So make sure that you are providing those blank accommodation sheets to your staff members. It's in the software. Go in tomorrow and ask your principal, hey, Bob, can I get my blank accommodation sheet? I'll take 70 of them, right? And Bob, could I have my blank IEP data collection sheets? On the bottom of an IEP goal, it says what? Who is responsible? And whether you listed it or not, it's an IEP goal. So the law assumes that that's a special education goal. All IEP goals are special education goal. So at minimum, you have to have a special education provider implementing that. That's going to be a special education teacher or a related service provider. The world's greatest para and the world's greatest gen ed are gen ed. They're not special education. Let's be crystal clear. And stop putting all of this work on general ed teachers and running them out of town and having them go to work at Starbucks and be happy. Because that's a staffing issue, not a teacher issue. Okay, what are some of the common missteps that schools take? I don't know what the common missteps that schools take. It's really about appropriation of funds, right? I love school. I love public school. There's no better setting than public school for kids with disabilities, period. Period. The depth and breadth of what they could offer when we get it right. But if you look at your school district, do a FOIA request, FOIA, and say, show me the budget. And the budget, whether you're in Dallas or Delaware or San Diego, see how I did the D there? 85% of their budget is at the admin office. And I mean the admin office, people you never met, right? And the rest of it is for basketball courts. And I love basketball because they have, nachos, right? But most people don't grow up to play basketball. Most people need to grow up and be able to read, do some math, be successful socially, emotionally, and we have got to shift the appropriation of funds. We have plenty of funds. Every year, every state, I know because I get the emails, is saying, hey, you have funds you could use. You have funds you could use. You could write a grant for this. Did you know you could write a grant? I don't know. Did you know you could write a grant for that? So there's money. It's just not used appropriately to educate kids with disabilities. Kids with disabilities nationally are 12.9% of the population. In some states where I live, the great state of Texas, we are one digit. Texas is 50th in special education delivery services out of 50. They should be ashamed because that's shameful. But we have money. Pediatricians will say that 25% of kiddos have a disability. So we're either going to pay now or pay later. Paying later doesn't make it okay. You have got to provide them the correct 504 IEP supports so that they can be successful for the next 75 years of their life. You've been involved in several high-profile cases recently. Learning from the mistakes of others, what advice would you give us so we don't repeat the same mistakes? Take data. Take data, right? And if you're doing your job, we only educate, period, on one word. Data. I don't care about your feelings. Your feelings have no intellect. I don't care about your opinions. They're like mine. I can't measure them. If I cannot graph it, if I cannot chart it, if I cannot give it to a hearing officer as an exhibit, it's not data. And about your grades, we don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We're not going to care. That seems to be a you issue because it's not mine. We all know grades aren't true anymore because we just test and test and test and test and test. I was in a meeting the other day. I won't tell you where. Amazing independent school district. That was the name of it. And the child had a 60 and is in self-contained special ed. I said, so I don't know how that happened. She goes, I can retest him. No. I said, I don't know how that happened. I didn't ask you if you retest. I don't want to retest him. How about we stop retesting? How about we stop graduating kids and start educating them, right? If the child failed, retesting doesn't make them learn. You got to go back and teach some content. Well, the whole class failed. Oh, congratulations. I don't know if I would say that out loud, right? So I don't believe your grades. So data points are what? District assessments, beginning of the year, middle of the year. Always be getting your reading levels. I don't care what age they are. Get your reading levels. I think that will be really important for you to know that because we have a nation of illiterate adults. Okay? Tell us the most interesting experience you've had working with... Well, ma'am, this is a PG thing and I can't tell you that. No, I'm obsessed with people. I love I'm shocked by educators. Anybody that would take somebody else's kid for the whole day and then go home to their own kids, I'm pretty sure you're an angel who fell from heaven. So we love you and we know that it's a crazy stressful job and that we know that it's a sacrificial job. And we want to support you as special education advocates and partner with you for our kiddos to be successful. In closing, is there anything else you feel the audience needs to hear? Yes, everybody should wear an obscene amount of lipstick and their hair should be back combed. Okay. So I know that, Alicia, do you have some questions from the TikTok is all happy? Yes.
Yeah, I was writing them down as you were going so that I could read them to you.
Okay. Are you reading all of them?
I tried.
Okay.
Becky asked, should she have an advocate for her daughter who has an ISP?
Yes. So let me just tell you what a great attorney said. And he is on, if you go to Special Education Academy, he's an attorney we interviewed. He said, I don't recommend this, sort of. He goes, when they're 3 years old, just sue the school. Okay. I don't recommend that. But here's what I don't think people realize. You're signing, these are federal contracts. The IEP is a federal contract. When you're in a meeting and they read that thing at the end, remember, I would like to read the assurances. We assure you that Yahoo Independent School District is going to do everything that Billy needs. Number 2, right? They read the assurances because they accept federal funds. You are in a setting that you know not of. You just don't. Unless you are a special education advocate, you are outmanned. Are you going to get an IEP? Yes. But you might get Burger King instead of, Perry's Steakhouse. And I'm not mad at Burger King. I am not mad about that. But that's not going to help him be successful based on what the federal and state law mandates.
Okay. And then Angie asked if you had any recommendations for accommodations for students with dyslexia.
So that's a really good question. Do I have recommendations for accommodations for dyslexia or for autism or for ADHD? Absolutely. But that's only going to be based on the student's unique circumstances. So Andrew F., which is a great decision that came out of the U.S. Supreme Court, you should download it. March 22nd, 2017 says that we have now a charge and an onus, and this is on the school. The onus is on the school. Only 2 people involved in the IEP, the school and the child with a disability. Only person responsible is the school, right? And it says that we are to write a child an IEP that enables him, makes him able to make progress in light of his unique circumstances. So if your child, if he has dyslexia, those are unique circumstances. So based on the impact of that, the acuity of it, the severity of it, are there comorbidities, then we look at accommodations to help support the IEP goals. So accommodations are something additional above an IEP goal. And let me just answer the question before you ask it. Do I think that anybody should have a 504? No. 504 is a civil rights law. It was never intended to capture kids that need education. So there's that.
And then Kayla, because I don't want her to think I didn't see all of her comments, wants to know if you can tell her what the website was for recording and documenting accommodations. Again, she missed it.
Oh, it's OCR, the U.S. Department of Education. So it's ed.gov. ed.gov. It's a U.S. Department of Education. And there is on there, and it will kind of walk you through. The OCR is very specific. So if you're going to file with the OCR, you want somebody who knows what they're doing. Otherwise, they'll just throw it out. I don't like to be thrown out, although I've been thrown out of a lot of places. Or now the new thing in IEP meetings is, oh, Miss Cunningham, she's finally in the lobby. Ma'am, did you not make the drill team? Okay, squirrel, shiny penny. So if you look on there, you will see the sorts of things that the Office of Civil Rights covers: discrimination based on race, retaliation, the Boy Scouts of America, gender, work, and on disability. But when they cover disability, it's very specific. So I would download the OCR case manual, and it will give you an understanding of what they cover as it relates to filings. Just a little hint, if you're going to file with the OCR, only talk about the few things that they cover. When they say, Miss Cunningham, is there any other thing that you're upset about? You go, nope, couldn't be happier. Are you sure? Yep, thrilled.
Okay. And then Jenny wants to know, does a parent have to sign the planning form, or is it okay to just have permission for the testing to begin?
The planning form? So special education testing is like getting married. It's consensual, and it's like getting unmarried. You can revoke consent. So for your child to be tested for special education, you have to have signed consent after the school has provided you notice. Do you understand your native language? Do you understand what we're doing? Once they are in receipt of that notice and consent, within 45 or 60 days, school days, they will have completed the testing.
right now, while there's like 15 people just asked, how can they get this training? So do you want to tell everybody where they can access it right now while everybody's asking?
Training.
They want to know where to get training from you.
Yes. So we have lots of different ways you can jump on the Academy. Y'all all yell. It's amazing. Go ahead and yell. They're yelling. They're muted. You should just see them. There's thousands of them. So we have a Special Education Academy. We meet once a week for a 2-hour live training on the law. We have hundreds of hours of already past trainings in the Academy with workbooks, who doesn't love a workbook? Because we want you to be fully equipped. That's $47 a month. You can stay as long as you want, leave. It's not the Hotel California, or is it, right? And we have 2-day trainings, which are in person or digital. First day, you will learn how to advocate for someone. Second day, you'll be ready to go out and bust it up as a full-time advocate. And then we have a la carte classes, everything from how to get your child tested to other specific trainings, because we want you to be trained. There isn't training. I started this a couple years ago because training doesn't exist, or there's some goofy trainings for $2,000 to make you bona fide, certified, and glorified, but it doesn't help you be a successful advocate at the table. All of our products are guaranteed because we're here to equip the saints. Oh, and that's at specialeducationacademy.com. Special educate, which I'm sure you're dropping in the chat because you have nothing else to do. Or Bonnie is, or somebody else. Y'all all
they're all trying to help. I mean, I see a couple of the girls
yes.
there help.
Yeah.
And then Misty said that her child has a diagnosis of autism. Does the school have to do their own testing?
So that's a good question. It's very rare, Misty, that the school would accept an outside evaluation. Also, I would caution you on that. An outside evaluation, the DSM-5 criteria for autism, is different than an educational need, right? There's 3 kinds of models. There's a swimwear model. Oh, wait, no. There's 3 kinds of models. There's a medical model, the educational model, and therapeutic model. A medical model is not the same thing as an educational model. It can certainly drive the need for testing, but I would ask for the school to do educational testing in all 8 areas, speech and language evaluation to include pragmatic, medical, physical, sociological, formal IQ, formal achievement, formal adaptive behavior, and a full psychological evaluation or emotional behavior, and then all of the related services. Alicia's laughing with me, I think.
Susan said, my district would faint if I became an advocate. I'll be on the Academy tomorrow.
Yes, fainting is fantastic. Yeah. We have a school, a young lady that is awesome, and she's very sweet and very quiet. And she quit the district, and now they bring attorneys. When they bring an attorney, you just need to call your mom and say, I'm a big deal. Yeah.
Okay, and then I didn't get this person's name, but they asked why did she have to choose which disability was listed as number 1 on her son's IEP? He has ASD and SSD.
You had to choose because they lied to you. Now, depending on the software, you can have a primary disability, which is what sits on the first page. But either way, in the present levels, the PLAAFP, present levels of academic achievement and functional performance, we list all federal eligibilities. You got 2, you got 6, we list them all. Additionally, we then add any medical conditions. So the fact that they only let you list 1 is discriminatory, and it reduces the benefit of IDEA. So you just email them tonight and say, my advocate, Karen Mayer Cunningham, said that the paperwork's incomplete and I want to come back to the table even if we never meet.
Like it.
I like it too.
This person's name was I'd rather stay home. My kind of name.
Let's hear it for the introverts, although there's no sound when you say that.
She said, I requested to have her daughter evaluated for sensory processing. Will they do a battery of testing?
No, because you didn't ask the right way. So it's sort of like, this is how I describe it. Let's say we all go to lunch and we sit down in a Mexican food restaurant and the guy walks up and he says, what do you want for lunch? And we say Mexican food. That's what most of you guys are doing in testing. So for related services, you would ask for occupational therapy in sensory. You'd ask for occupational therapy in written expression or fine motor. You'd ask for assistive technology in written expression, assistive technology in communication. If you really want to traumatize the school, you'll ask for a music therapy evaluation. It's fantastic. They will just literally fall off. Like, where'd everybody go on the Zoom? We don't have that. You do. Call your local college. But the related services, the federal law says that we have an onus, an obligation, a duty to go out ILE, identify, locate, and evaluate children with suspected disabilities. If I hear one more person tell me that on a 504 they don't have a disability, for special education and related services. So make sure whatever related service might be applicable for your child, that you get that testing as well.
Awesome. You have a lot of teachers that are saying thank you.
Thank y'all. Like, thank you. Like, I love teachers. I don't know who the teachers were. I just showed up when they graduated and went, right? God bless teachers. You are crazy amazing.
Somebody wants to know what your thoughts are on draft IEPs.
Yeah, send them. And don't think I'm stupid. And no, the draft is the draft. It'd be like me going, listen, I know that you bought a house and it's going to be great. It's $400,000. I know, but could I see it? It is a great house. I mean, it's got like a driveway. I know, but could I see it? Yeah, just sign here. Give me the draft. So here's the email, kids. Write this down. So, dear Make It Up As You Go Independent School District, please provide me a full draft copy of the IEP document ahead of time so that myself and my client can prepare, knowing that this is just a draft. Without that draft, it's unlikely that we'll be able to make an informed decision and we will have to reschedule. And I'm not going to start a meeting without the full draft. So let's not do that. That I'm filling it out. I'm just filling it. And I was like, oh, you're not. You didn't know the address of your school. Let's not do that because I'll make you turn around your laptop.
Tammy wants to know, how can a school get away with not allowing a child to go to school because he has mental problems?
They can't get away with that. So if your child is on the planet called the United States, and they are enrolled in the school district, the school has to educate them, whether it's in a psychiatric unit, whether it's in ICU, whether it's in juvenile, whether it's out of district day placement. They have a responsibility to educate them. So I would email the school and say that I would like to have a meeting to discuss the totality of the continuum of services. Also, I would like to talk about a compensatory package since you denied him an educational benefit. And then I just always finish, love, muffin. That's always a good way to end it. Yeah.
I can't say this person's name, but it was funny. Is it an art committee decision to change a failing 6-week grade just to pass a child?
So that's breaking the law is not an argument. It's not an IEP decision. What? No. An IEP committee decision, or ARD, in Texas we call it ARD, is a decision based on the paperwork that impacts the student with a disability. Your goofy grade for the 6 weeks, I don't know what that's about. I had a kiddo the other day that got a letter. He's in second grade that he was about to lose credit. I'm like, the only credits are in high school. He doesn't even have all of his teeth. But the credit letter, he could be losing credit. For what? Hand washing? Yeah.
I don't want Elliot to think I haven't seen their question come through. So they want to know if you have suggested accommodations for a child who has anxiety and depression.
So that's a really good question. I don't know so much, Elliot, that I would think about accommodations, but I would think about services, right? So if you have a child that has emotional needs, the first thing that you're going to want to ask for is a CRS, a counseling as a related service evaluation. It is an amazing product so that kids get that one-on-one counseling at school. It's different than general counseling. I'm going to ask for psych services while we wait for that evaluation to return. Whether you're Gen Ed 504 or special ed, you can have psych services. But yes, you can have social skills. You can have the lunch bunch. There's a million things that we can do to help kiddos feel emotionally calibrated at school.
Thank you. And then Heart for Nicole wants to know SST versus IEP, ?
OPI versus UPS, SST versus IEP?
Yeah.
Okay, the answer is always IEP. If a child needs more than the general ed teacher can provide them, we call that special ed. Don't take the other shenanigans. Isn't that right, Sanaya?
Right. Look at her.
Pretty girl. She's like running it.
Somebody asked, how do you feel about mainstream classes? Does it affect the IEP teaching?
How do I feel about mainstream classes?
Yeah, they didn't have any clarification.
Yeah, so I mean,
write their name down.
the school is the school. I don't have any feelings about classes. I'm going to look at each content area by content area, class by class, and see what's the most appropriate place for my amazing kiddo to get the most bang for his buck. If that's never in general ed, hallelujah. If it's all day in general ed, fantastic. Special education is a service, it's not a location. I don't know that there's age appropriate peers. I've never met any. I didn't have any during the 80s. So if my child, a lot of parents want their kids to be in general ed, to be in there. That's ridiculous. If that's not where a kid feels, I want a kid to go to school and go, I crushed it, not it crushed me. And I have 7 and 8-year-olds saying that they want to take themselves out, that they don't want to be on the earth, that they wish they could go back to heaven and not be a boy with autism. Because some parents who are lovely are demanding that they be in general ed. And there are parents, I don't release them back into the wild, that demand that their kiddos have general ed. And it's punitive to the student, to the teachers, and the classroom if it's not the right setting.
Brittany just wanted you to know that you're amazing and you should run for office.
I won. I am president of this office. Thank you.
Tammy asked a follow-up question. Is it legal for a principal to tell a parent their child needs to be institutionalized?
It is legal to bop that principal on the head when nobody's looking and the cameras are off. There's a phrase that you should know. Silence is golden, and duct tape, it's silver. No, I would tell the principal, you probably got your medical degree the same place that I did, and nobody at the school has any legal standing to say that their child should be anything other than educated. So I would help them out the door. I feel like, to-go boxes would be a great way to empty their office. And I would let the school board know about that. Yeah.
Amber wanted to know, with your trainings that you offer, does it transfer to other states?
It transfers to all the states of the states. I don't know how many states we have. I think we have like 43. I'm not sure. I don't know where the capitals are, but I'm coming there. I asked, my husband said, I was like, is this a state? He goes, no. Okay, it isn't. We're not part of the Virgin Islands. Yes, but no, I don't know. Yeah. Yes, if you are in the United States of America, everything that we teach, I have clients from Miami to Alaska. It's special ed is the same enjoyable fun house from coast to coast. So yes, it transfers. And we have this huge community that resources each other and serves each other. Right now we have Montana, Missouri, Montana. I feel like it's the same state. Montana, Connecticut. We do have people from other countries. We have Louisiana. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's another country. We have Kansas. We have Dallas. That's another country. We have people from all over, and we love them. Virginia. So, yep. So come on.
And then D. Mitchell wanted to know, where does the general education teacher go for help when they know the district is out of compliance?
You come with us and you train to be an amazing advocate. And you make $1 gazillion and you change kids' lives from the outside in. If you work for a school district and they are out of compliance, there's nothing that you're going to do that's going to benefit you, my love. There just isn't. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm. There's one whose name is ELA teacher.
I like that.
The child is on a kindergarten level in 6th grade. What do you do?
So, is the child in special education? If the child's in special education, they should be referred for special education. There's probably some RTI. You have to do what you're required to do by teacher ethics. There are teacher ethics. Their teacher ethics. You would have to at least let your administration know. I'm sure that you have a special education chair or lead and find ways that you can intervene for that kiddo.
Oh, she did say that they are in special education.
Okay. So, I have kids that are, I have a kiddo right now that reads 25 words per minute in 6th grade. And they had 3 days a week of dyslexia. So I came in like Miley Cyrus, because we have the same size hips. And I said, this is a problem, right? Unfortunately, at that point, it's so hard to recover because we just push them through, right? We have so many kids that truly are illiterate. They are illiterate. And what that child needs is targeted resource time to mitigate the impact of their reading deficit.
Thank you for that. Jamie is asking how she can get one-to-one service provider instead of reducing their child's school hours.
So I don't know why you would reduce a child's hours. So the child is due the entire school day like anybody else, unless we're talking about a medical need or homebound. So when we're looking at one-on-one, that can be a great benefit or a terrible problem. So one-on-one makes it very hard for me to tease out the data, the successes, and acquisition of information. But if there's moments during the day, many or a few that one-on-one is required, whether it's transition, acquisition of new information, reteach, then we do that. But it's never my recommendation that we just have a kiddo with a one-on-one, but certainly in those places that they need it. And then we deliver that special education and then fade that support over time, however long that time takes.
Perfect. And then Jen is asking, do the general education teachers also need to do data tracking, and how can I request this in a professional manner?
Sure. So the implementer on the IEP is about the setting, right? So if a child, if you have a general ed classroom and there's a special ed student, the general ed teacher is the teacher of record. The special ed teacher is supporting her, right? And so a lot of times general ed teachers say, well, there's somebody with them. Well, you are responsible for collecting data. If you want to know how to collect data, the software that every school uses has it. I would just go to your principal and say, hey, Bonnie, Angelique, Laura, and Tina all have IEPs in my room. Please provide me the blank IEP data collection sheets so I can weekly measure their success if they're making gains. But that's in the software. If the child is in special ed, then the special ed teacher is a teacher of record and the general ed teacher supports them. So they're never exempt of each other, even if a child is never in general ed, ever.
Someone is asking if a parent can ask for our meeting at any time, or does it have to be scheduled does the school have to say when you can have one?
So you can only have an IEP meeting during the school day, because I love a good meeting at midnight. And you can only have an IEP meeting 180 days of the year, except for in Texas, because we have to go to the rodeo. So when a parent requests an IEP meeting, you can't be denied an IEP meeting. So I request an IEP meeting. I request a review IEP meeting to look at progress. If you ask for a review IEP meeting, you can look at any of the components of the IEP document. And we meet at a mutually agreed upon time. I could care less that Candy's grading period is at 11:47 on Tuesdays. It has nothing to do with me. Because I will say, 11:47 on Tuesdays, I've got brain surgery every week. So we're going to have to look at another time. Oh, well, that's her time. Super. You'll need to get a thing called coverage. Muffin. If you say muffin, everything goes easier. Yeah.
Smith wants to know if testing requests by a parent can be refused if there's no RTI data from the teacher.
No. Nor do we don't need your RTI. We didn't find. If there's an educational need for testing, a suspicion for testing, and we do lots of training on what would trigger, let's not trigger parents, but what would trigger the response, the need for special education testing, known deficits over time with intervention, not expected progress, all sorts of emotionality, functional deficits, language deficits. Those trigger a request for testing. Has nothing to do with the parent. However, should a school choose, and you would say that, should the school choose to deny you testing, make sure that you have a robust prior written notice capturing why you were denied testing. And let me tell you, what doesn't go in that prior written notice? Your goofy grades. Could care less about your grades. The whole world's valedictorians now, right? So you better be able to show me and quantify why there's no testing needed. Because here's what you'll never get. time.
I agree. If the ELA teachers asked question, how many teachers have been fired for standing up against wrongdoing that you know of?
Every one of them. And we'll take you. Come on. Over 2/3 of the people that I train are teachers. We call them quitters. And now they're advocating for kids from coast to coast. All you need is an Ethernet cord. I've been sitting at this amazing office that I'm the president of since March 13th, 2020. Whether I do a due process hearing, a federal complaint, helping somebody with a divorce. We don't do that in special ed. It feels like it. But we just sit here at our Ethernet cords back to back to back to back. So you can advocate for coast to coast. What does it take to be an advocate? You would need to have a pulse. If you don't have a pulse, don't call us. If you do have a pulse and you actually like children and you want them to win and you want to work with school districts for that outcome, come on. We will train you to be an amazing special education boss.
Ellen, can you retype your question? Because I missed it. But I seen you ask me to answer it twice.
Yes, Ellen, this is my natural hair color. Was that the question?
I don't know. She just said, can you please answer my question? But I can't find it.
Yes.
There are a few people throughout it that were asking, how can they hire you? How do they train to be an advocate? So can you just give that?
Yeah. So if you have any questions for us, if you're looking for representation, so I represent families in IEP meetings and legal settings, all the way up to federal filings and mediation. We also have a team of affiliates that are also team members that we can connect you with from whatever is going to fit you guys. But if you are interested in training, just go to specialeducationacademy.com. If you have questions about that, email us at admin@specialeducationacademy.com. And we'll be happy to answer those questions. But we would love for you guys to join us at whatever level so you can go back to the schools and continue to be rock stars for kiddos.
And then, I don't know how many more you want to take, but this one has asked it 4 times, so I don't want to miss her.
Well, I have to go to bed at midnight, so there's that.
Well, she's saying that the STAR testing requirements changed, and the school is stating that there will no longer be extra time available.
Liars. And so here's a nice way to say that you're a liar. You and I both know that's not true. If a child needs something, we provide it to them. So that's just goofy. However, what the STAR test adjustments did say is we're going to provide everybody extra time. But do you see how lying is not enjoyable? Just let's stop lying to parents. If you don't know, zip it. If you do know, probably keep it to yourself anyway, right? So there is a document from TEA called the STAR guidelines. So if you reach out to your DOE, your Department of Education, they will provide you guidance in whatever amazing state you've been in. I've done 7 press conferences at capitals. We're coming to all your states. I don't know what the capital is, but everybody at the Department of Education, every state has been lovely. I don't know why there's this big disconnect from the state to the campus level.
Some of these comments are just tearing at my heartstrings. Sorry.
Yes.
One of them wants to know, Ellen's question was, she has a student that she believes is under the autism umbrella. How does she help him?
So there's not an umbrella. I just want to say that respectfully. Autism is a spectrum. So, and I'm being corrected on words that I use. So autism is not an umbrella. It's a spectrum, meaning it presents differently for different reasons. So if they meet criteria for autism spectrum disorder in school, that means that they have a profound impact, usually happening during the development period, that they have verbal and nonverbal communication deficits, and social deficits and interactions, and repetitive behaviors. So is the child in special education? Then we write a robust plan around that.
Elliot wanted you to know that they're special education admin and they're here to learn and make it better.
We love you, Elliot.
I can't see this person's name, but their public elementary school has no special education classrooms. What can be done to change that?
I'm sorry? So that would be a federal complaint, which I'd be happy to help you with. If there's a building and there's humanoids in it, there's no building where special ed is not provided. That would be called segregation.
Yeah.
And it still happens. It's, yeah.
Somebody wanted to know how can they transition their son from a 504 to an IEP?
Well, there's no transition. So your child already has a known disability. So I would email, y'all need to just fire up your laptop right now and just say, my advocate, Mayer Cunningham, said that I could have special education testing because his disability is not suspected, it's known. We look forward to coming in and signing notice and consent. 504 is a waste of time and a waste of paper. 504 costs your school $0 and 0 cents. Also, a 504, the school-based member adults can call down your 8-year-old for a 504 meeting that you know nothing about, and they never have to notify you. Doesn't that sound amazing? Yeah.
Ellen said that the parents are non-existent for her autistic or possibly autistic student.
Right, and there's a million reasons why parents are believed to be non-existent. And I'm going to just tell you something that's not going to make people happy. We don't welcome parents. We didn't welcome parents in the 90s when I started. We don't welcome them now. Parents are trying to pay their bills and go to work. And the few times that they do participate, it can be very uncomfortable. However, there are a few occasions where parents are non-participant, but you have no idea why that is. It could be cultural. It could be shame. It could be they don't know how to participate. So, I would just keep sending love notes home saying, let us know if there's a higher level we could support him with.
Try to build that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. What does CRA help with?
CRA? Mm-hmm. CRA? I don't know. I don't know what CRA is.
Well, we'll see if she specifies in a minute. Grace wants to know, what do you do when they tell you there's not enough data collected on your child for testing?
That's when you tell them, I love your sense of humor. Yeah, they were in the building. You have data. I do want to answer a question that keeps coming up. Are charter schools the same thing as public schools? They are. I would never let a human child go to a charter school that had special education need for services. And we'll just leave it at that. You don't need to debate me. I'm not wrong about this. Charter schools don't have special ed staff. You think regular schools are low on special ed staff? They don't have that. They just don't.
Missy wants to know, her student wants to transfer schools. The new school asks to see his IEP first. Is that legal?
Wants to transfer?
Mm-hmm.
When you say is that legal, do you mean like in inner district or like from Philadelphia to the Panhandle?
We'll see if she
a lot of times districts do communicate with the other. Like say Quinn's the director and she reaches out to Baba Joe at the next school district and they might share information. You could share information with a district if there's an educational need, but we don't just send around people's records.
Okay. And she hasn't responded, so
okay.
We'll see. What do you do when they tell you? Oh wait, no, I read that one already.
Let me just read a question here. Are there charter type schools that focus on students with disabilities with special needs? Nope. 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 And no. Mm-mm.
Can a school make a teacher teach a resource when they are not SPED certified?
Yeah. Yeah. A school can make, a school that has somebody with no character leading them can make employees do a myriad of things that are unconscionable.
I like it.
She doesn't mean the way it sounds.
Well, how do we fight whenever they're trying to move a child from an IEP to a 504?
When you say we, is that a school-based member or is that a parent?
I believe it's a parent.
Okay, so we fight with one 4-letter word. Data. The data speaks for itself. You don't have to prove it. You have to present it, right? You have to stop convincing and start conveying. The data supports everything. Play a recording of your child reading for 3 minutes. Show them a three minutes of writing, right? The data drives everything. I would go to your school and ask for an open records request. We have a friend, Christina, that can help you with that. She's really good with that. And ask for a full open records request. Ask for all your students' records at admin with your driver's license, to include but not limited to school-based members' emails, everything with your student's full name and ID on it from the time he got there till today.
Tammy wants to know, she is an IEP facilitator in the state of Texas. Would your class be a benefit to her?
I don't know. Y'all yell out. Would it be of a benefit? They're all saying, woohoo! Yes. 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 Yeah. Hang on just real quick. We have a student from India that's been in the U.S. for a year. He's in 4th grade, but we have a student from India. He's only been in the U.S. for a year. He's in 4th grade, but cannot count 1-to-1. Mom wants him tested, but was told they could not test him because he's not been in the country long enough. So let's talk about that for a minute. There are what we call exclusionary factors for special ed, as it does relate to people from other countries, or when there's adoption at the district level, maybe somebody in charge of curriculum, maybe the special education director or an assistant superintendent to confirm that. But he's not been in the country long enough. We call that a big fat lie. That's not a thing. So, but there are kiddos that come from another country that they don't speak English, that you wouldn't say that they're eligible for special education, because it's not the same standard as when you grew up in your native language. But I would reach directly out for admin for clarification on that and get it and writing. No, he's very fluent in English. Okay, then it's just a regular lie. Yeah. Just say, my advocate, Karen Mayer Cunningham, is concerned with your shenanigans. We look forward to coming in and signing notice and consent. Should you deny him special education testing, please provide that to us in a prior written notice. Muffin. Always finish with muffin.
And this lady's asked a few times, so I don't want her to think we don't see it. What does the Medicaid waiver help with?
Nothing. So,
I'm our nurse in the back.
Yeah. So we have, so the IEP team has to provide you notice of the Medicaid document. At every IEP meeting, I tell my clients not to sign it, because if they open an account for them at admin, which they do whether you have Medicaid or not, your student's complete Social Security number is on there, like complete. The Medicaid waiver programs are of benefit to people. However, in Texas, it's a 14-year wait right now, and the list is frozen. But other than that, it's good. So we certainly want kiddos with disabilities to sign up for that as quickly as possible. So if, in fact, they need services that were applicable to them, that they become available. Real quick, another question. We have a student that DNQ'd for everything except for speech, but she has resource time for math and reading, even though she did not qualify for SLD in those areas. So, if a student is in special education, we provide them special education. Again, under the federal code 300.111D, it says that a student doesn't even have to be listed by a disability, as long as we know as a committee that student is in need of special education and related services. One more real quick. My daughter currently has a 504 at her school, and I've been asking for an IEP for a year and a half. I've been asking for, you guys are fast on the academy. I've been asking for a year and a half. She's on the autism spectrum. She's been through occupational therapy, speech therapy, and traditional therapy outside of school. What related services can I request in the formal written request for the IEP testing? So first of all, the problem is you've been asking. Nothing happens unless it's in writing. Stop asking and start writing. I would say, hey, it's November 8th. This is my formal request for Billy Smith to have testing. Areas of suspected disability are attention, learning, communication, and behavior. I wouldn't put down an eligibility. Additionally, we would like these related services. And when we have trainings on them, related services are everything from O&M to Braille to parent training to in-home parent training to feeding therapy to occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, all the therapies. So you want to ask for them when you do the formal testing. And when they say something to you like, we're going to do a screener, I say, we're not. Screens go on Windows, not on children. Can a district require a doctor's prescription for OT services? Yes, they can for OT or PT. It varies by state, but it is a state statute. So You'll have to look at your state statutes for the specificity around their related service providers. It just confirms that a medical doctor also believes that there's that need. But that's usually around PT is always, but not necessarily OT. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
They had a really good question that I think will help some people. It's from Black Hummingbird. They asked, the school keeps saying in order to give an IEP that they have to use a 2 standard deviation. What is that?
So they don't have to do anything. If you had to do something, it would be in the federal code. So 2 deviations, I think is what they're talking about for an intellectual disability. So 2 deviations from the norm on your IQ test would be part of the criteria for an intellectual disability. We don't have to gotta do anything to provide a student testing and or special education and related services. Again, if somebody says something goofy, this is what I say. Thanks. Please provide that to me in writing by close of business and attach the district policy or the state code. Really, when you get that, just reach out to your DOE, your Department of Education, your state education agency and say, somebody goofy in the meeting said you had to wear a purple bathing suit to get special ed. Is that true? And so ask whether it's true and then say this. Say, please show me that in the code. They're not going to give you legal advice, but if it's in the code, they'll show you. If it's not in the code, they'll say, I'm not sure what you're talking about. And they'll say it just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Sue wants to know, is it illegal to consistently pull your special education teacher to cover a regular ed class due to no sub?
No, because they're already a regular ed teacher. So here's the thing. A judge told me a long time ago. There's a lot of things that are wrong that aren't illegal, right? So illegal means that you broke a federal or state requirement.
The ELA teacher has another question. Is funding linked to schools' decisions on why they do or don't do things? Elaborate on funding.
Nope. This is all about posture and position. So I have never seen a 7th grade boy without a brand new football jersey. And I've been to the poorest districts and the most fancy schmancy districts. We have money for whatever we think is a priority in school districts. Look around your school district, look at their budget, and that will tell you what that school district's priority is.
I lost my... Oh, how long is the training at the academy?
17 years. Mm-hmm. So everybody's nodding. So the academy is, we meet every Tuesday for 2 hours / 5 hours. All the past classes are archived on the academy, so you can go in and I'm way better than Hulu. And you can binge watch them. So they're in series. They all have workbooks. It's not funny, Laura. This is serious. So you can stay as long as you want and you can leave when you want. We'll miss you terribly if you leave, but come and get the information that you need.
Someone said if a student has ADHD, inattentive, and dyslexia, are they a 504 or a SPED?
Okay. Can we stop asking for dyslexia? Can we just stop? Can we just all agree to we're not going to say the word dyslexia anymore? You know why? Because you are getting the shaft. There are 4 components of reading. Dyslexia, phonemic awareness and decoding, basic reading fluency, which we know is the only bridge to comprehension, and reading comprehension. And so you guys are stuck on dyslexia. You just are. You are. And you want your child to have full testing, full cognitive testing with all 7 Gs. But every child in America, for the last 25, 26 years I've done this, except for less than 1 handful, should be in special education. Do you have a disability? And do you want somebody to work on a goal? Yes. So dyslexia has 2 pathways to instruction. It's either general ed product, which is generic, and there's nothing special about it. It's a generic general ed product that might change your kiddo's life. But it's probable, it's really highly probable, if your child has dyslexia, when tested correctly, they also have another SLD. And if you have dyslexia and ADHD, that is a lot to say grace over. Welcome to, it's going to be a long time that I'm in school. Call me Tigger.
Isaac wants to know, is it illegal to exclude from a sport due to bad behavior, illness, time to raise a grade, support, have an IEP.
Nope. So sports, we're talking about 7th grade and up in America, UIL, University Interscholastic League. We are allowed to compete and exclude, right? So most kiddos on an IEP, in their IEP, you would write, there's a component that you would say the no pass, no play provision is not applicable to them. So you would write in there, the no pass, no play provision is not applicable to them. And then that would not deny them the ability to play volleyball like I did. It was beach volleyball. I didn't play anything that didn't cause sweating. But you don't have a right, because you have a disability, to go out and shoot some hoops at halftime. You don't have a right to be on the cheerleading team. You don't have a right to show a cow at the rodeo. Those are all competitive things. And so your special ed paperwork does not give you an entree into that.
And then Tiffany said her son, who's in 8th grade, school does not have a special education room, and they want him to move schools. What can she do?
So special education is not a room. Special education is not a location. It's a service. So I would say, where is my service muffin? We don't move. If the school cannot provide them a special education related services, we are excited about sitting down and talking about out-of-district placement at the school's expense. Happy to help you with that. Lots of nodding going on that you guys can't see.
Felicia would like tips for new parents starting from PPCD into kindergarten. What are some must-knows or questions to ask?
Sure. So what are you doing with my kid all day? That'd be the first thing I would ask. I would get a piece of paper at the beginning of the meeting and say, before we go any further, can we just map out his day? What time do you guys start? 8:07? Okay, hold on. What happens at 8:07? Okay. We have waffles. Okay. Waffles stop at 8:22. Then what happens? Then what happens? Who's teaching that? How many kids are there? You need to be able to visually know where your kid is in the building, right? Ask the school, do you think that his math is in the average range? Do you think that his reading is in the average range? Do you think that his haircut's in I'm just kidding, right? Do you think he's well groomed, right? Ask those questions and be willing to listen to the answer, right? And so you are equal team members. To not participate because they weren't nice and friendly doesn't recuse you from that process. There's some amazing websites that can help you. Pete Wright has an amazing website called Wright's Law. There is a bucket of information on there. When you join the academy, you get an actual paid for product, which we have, our number one product, which is how to get your kid tested. But you have to ask meaningful questions. When you get to the meeting, have questions written down, right? You're not going to somebody else's party. You're talking about your child. Your information is the most valuable. So your job is to make sure that you have provided parent input to enhance the education of your child, whether it's in welding, art, English 3, or whatever else we have at school.
Nikki wanted me to let you know that you were Jade's advocate. She started college this summer, and to tell you thank you, she's doing great.
Oh, that makes me 15 years old. Oh my gosh, I'm old. Oh my gosh, I'm 117 years old. That's awesome. I'm not crying. We're not crying. That's so good. I really am 100 years old.
Misty followed up and said that their state passed the choice transfer so that they can choose. So it was they're moving from one district to another, and the district asked to see the IEP before the transfer and then said they didn't have the services the child would need to go to their school.
Yeah. Yeah, not a fan of that. Right? Because location doesn't change provision, right? And I understand the intent behind schools of choice. What kids need is continuity and consistency, right? And just because this school is shinier and newer and whatever, I don't really know what goes on inside of that school unless I talk to other parents who have kiddos with like needs. But when you move, they do have the choice to say that they don't have to accept your move because they don't have the way to support you. And I would rather the school be transparent and say, we don't have the ability to accept you on your choice transfer.
Esther wanted me to tell you thanks for helping her, Ava.
Oh, I love Ava. And Esther, if you ever need somebody to write an email for you, Esther will.
So the real Jackie said the school keeps suspending for more than 10 allowed days. What now? Too many removals.
Super. It looks like the school's unable to educate them. My advocate and I would like to set up a meeting to talk about an out-of-district day therapeutic placement. Yeah.
And then Shirley said she has a 4th grade student who cannot read, but they said he didn't qualify for special education services because he has no strengths. What now?
So 300.1111, okay, 300.111D, child find. It's the last section of child find. A student does not have to be listed by their eligibility as long as we know as a committee this student is in need of special education and related services. So the federal government preemptively took care of any goofiness in testing. If that doesn't work, you tell them that your friend, Karen Mayer Cunningham, will be with you at the next meeting. It's amazing how people are like, no.
Oh, Misty said that he's in an online school now and they want to go in person.
Where you're allowed. What's not you want to go? You live in the district. I would just show up in the building like Jack Nicholson in The Shining with your metal lunch pail full of glass containers. I'm back. Yeah. Call Christina. She'll get you in the building. Yeah. And she'll videotape it.
Pumpkin pie.
Oh.
I think it's Shars. Yes or no? What is it? Help.
Nothing. Shars is, first of all, it's so inappropriate. So Sarah, your kid on Medicaid? Okay, that's not appropriate. I love you too, Esther. We're just like, it's so none of your business. That's like saying, hey, Quinn, can you pay your bills? It's so inappropriate to ask at a table. The question is, if the parent gives consent, then the district has the right to bill the federal government for a portion of reimbursement. But my answer is nope. I've had too many families who have greatly medically complex kiddos that for some reason, Betty Joe in the back office messed up their benefits. So it's a no for me.
Awesome. Advice for a high school student who has ADHD and ODD on an IEP in a horrible special education department.
Is that a trick question? That's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
Are they on it? They're on it?
Jackson, maybe like ask us a specific question and then we can help.
Yeah.
Brandy says she has a 7th grader that reads on a 1st grade level. The school admitted to not meeting their needs. What should she push for?
Compensatory package. So a compensatory package is to return a child back to the place they would have been had an IDA violation not occurred. If your child is in 7th grade reading 6 years behind, an IDEA violation occurred, I'd recommend that you get representation all day long because they owe you compensatory time. I'm sorry, doesn't cut it.
And Creation said, is there any resource for a seclusion that was not documented?
Is there any resource for a seclusion?
Oh, recourse. I'm sorry, recourse.
No. There are things to fight over. That's not one of them. If you don't have data to support your position, and it's terrible for those things, schools do have, unfortunately, even mechanical restraints. They do have great liberty in restraining a child. And I can tell you, as representing somebody that went all the way through due process, I want you to use your bandwidth to focus on something different.
And speaking of due process, someone asked, do you do an IDEA due process because of abuse and not giving him his services? He's in New York.
So I live in one of a few states that I'm allowed to interpret state and special education law without being a litigator. I don't do due process in New York, but I'm sure that there are people there that do that. Depending on what the violation is, I do most of my filings with the federal government. The federal government's like a pregnancy. It's slow, but it's permanent. But you have to know exactly how to file. But it would depend on the specifics of the case.
Mad Love is coming from California. IEP meeting isn't done within the 60 days. What are her options?
You're out of compliance, which is a state violation. I would first probably reach out for a facilitated IEP from the state level to get all the men to sit down and get it together.
We have 350 people watching.
Hi! Yes. So we're going to take 5 more questions because, I turn into a pumpkin and I'm...
Can a SPED teacher change an IEP goal when a student hasn't met just to accommodate the grade level standards?
No. That's called criminal activity. Mm-hmm. And all changes are a committee decision. So if you want to change, if you want to move a comma over in the IEP document, we need to have a meeting about that.
Yeah. Someone said they asked their son's school for the
RDCS, raw data collection sheets.
And no one knows what she's talking about. What do you do now?
You would get somebody to represent you and file a federal complaint with the Office of Civil Rights. Okay. Nobody knows what you're talking about. Nobody knows. They're gonna know. They're gonna know. Yeah.
They're gonna know. The price of teaching wants to know about testing accommodation. Admin says they can't give the accommodations on tests like iReady. What are your thoughts?
Well, you can't. iReady is a computer. Only humans can provide accommodations. Computers can't.
Okay, and I'm going to wait. Right now, it's just a lot of people saying thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. And we're going to do this we're doing this next Tuesday. I'm going to wear a sweater, so we don't have to look at all that.
Oh, look, you have some in the academy.
Hi. I'll take 2 more questions from the talk, and then we'll do all the academy. Okay. And all the academy kids, unmute yourself, and y'all say hi to your friends and tell them to join the academy. I'm going to turn it around and let you guys all see you guys want to see the academy? Okay, y'all all say hi. Hi. Unmute yourself. Tell them it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's great.
Hi.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Yeah. So, and they're all really smart people. Like they went to college and finished whatever. I went to college and spent time at the Sigma Chi house. It's like a degree, but it's not. All right.
Don't say that. I've met some very dumb, highly educated people. Don't say that.
Yes.
Someone asked, how do you request testing to see if a child qualifies for SPED?
Sure. So this is my formal request for ability to have special education testing. Areas of suspected disability are attention, behavior, communication, and learning. We look forward to coming in and signing notice and consent in 15 days. And then one other question I'm going to just see right here, and then we're going to do questions from our Academy members. They've been very patient. Can you have a paper STAR test? Of course you can. You have to apply for an exemption through the state of Texas. You would email inquire, INQUIRE, at SPED,
how long will the surgery take?
At SPED. Ashley, if we can get you to mute yourself. Oh, so you email in Texas, you would email inquire, INQUIRE, at spedtex, SPEDTEX.org. So, of course, there's kids that can't take tests online, like kids that have seizures, kids that have ADD, kids that just click through the whole thing. So, when people say everybody has to do this, that's a lie. It's just a regular lie. Thanks, you guys, for joining us on the TikTok. We're still going to continue, and then we'll do this next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, whatever that means. And we'll put an event up so you can invite all of your amazing friends. So we're going to see you guys next Tuesday at the next training, the next Ask the Advocate.
Recording stopped.
All right, so Academy kiddos. You guys have questions? How about this one? A psychologist wrote a note saying that a student could not take the EOC. What? What? Yeah, I don't know what that means. So as it relates to state testing, a lot of things I argue about, state testing is not one of them. It's all propaganda. We don't keep people, nobody's not graduating high school. Otherwise, you would have 30-year-olds with a full beard driving themselves to 5th grade. Right. So it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Like, we're going to keep you. Really? Are you going to keep me by like the nacho machine? Where do we keep? Right. So it's all a lie. If you need to get credits to graduate, you can get them anywhere. School, online, the back alley. Just, if it sounds like you're being manipulated, you are. So don't fall for that. I know that we're still live on the TikTok. Yes, I'm aware of that. Because they're TikTokonians. Yeah. By state law, I can't just turn them off. It would be wrong, and they would be crying little tears. Oh, the co-op says hi. Hi, co-op. We love co-ops. You kids have questions? Tina, do you have a question? Do you want to make up a question, Tina?
I needed Tina to write that email today. I feel like it would have just given it a little bit more.
Yeah, Tina would be like, what the Hello Kitty are you guys thinking? Yeah. So we had a question from the Academy. Is it true that it's against the law for them to give me a copy of the evaluation ahead of time? If it's against the law, it would be in the against the law section. Okay? So that's not true. Okay? Angelique. Yes, ma'am.
I was denied an art and they sent the PWN. What do we do next?
What was the reason for denying you the art?
I'm not sure. But we wanted a review art and they denied us and sent the PWN.
Okay, then I would reach out to the state and ask for a facilitated IEP meeting. Did they deny that with your friend Bonnie? So Bonnie, you must know what the PWN says. Did it say you were too attractive, Angelique? Is that what it was? Because I get that all the time. What was the denial reason, Bonnie?
Let me pull it up here. It was because it said the district did not see a need to convene it right now. Because her concern was for grades. His grades, he's been in resource, failed the first 9 weeks, still failing this 9 weeks, called a review ARD to see like what's going on, and they said there's no need for that.
And so that I would agree with them. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but you asked for the wrong thing. Grades have nothing to do with an individualized education program. It has to do with, is there something in the product that you want to consider adjusting? So do I want to consider adjusting IEP goals? Do I want to consider adjusting placement? Do I want to consider support, like a pair of pantyhose, right? So to have an IEP meeting about grades, you know, I'm not happy about agreeing with them. I won't tell you what school district. Make it up as you go, independent school district. But they're right. Okay? Yes, Miss Christina.
So we have one of our amazing SLPs from Chatterbox on. Can we talk to our Chatterbox and our TikTok friends about AT evals and AAC devices?
Sure. So an AT evaluation, which you're entitled to, whether it's for communication for AAC, augmentative alternative communication, or VOCD, also AT evaluations in written expression. And so either one of those, you want to make sure that you tease it out and ask it correctly. Additionally, AT is one of the 8 pillars of IDEA, the Assistive Technology Act of 1990, which they like that. You should print that out. It says that you're required to have service time. What? Yeah. That you're required to have service time and that the school must provide you AT products, whether it's made, ordered, or received off the shelf. So when your school district says, I'm sorry, we went to the bus barn, we don't see any devices. Super, let's drive to Best Buy together. I'll drive, okay? And we can stop at Chick-fil-A on the way back. Yep. That answer your question, Christina? Okay. Tiffany?
Yes, I have 2 quick questions. I hope they're quick questions.
Yes, ma'am.
One of them, my daughter, when she went to speech therapy, she went for a year. She only spoke 1 word the entire time she went to them. So they did issue her an AAC device. When we had our initial 504 meeting this year.
What? I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on. I must be confused. I thought you said your child was saying 1 word.
She did.
How could she be in a 504?
They keep telling me that 2 standard deviation and that her state test scores, which they only took 1 this year, which was the review for last year, was at grade level. even though I've mentioned her
Well,
test score.
deviation from the norm has nothing to do with speech eligibility.
They told me basically that they couldn't allow her to use the device at school because if she only uses it twice when she goes into no talking mode, if they ever got audited.
Okay. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so Tiffany, in the chat where our 800 friends can't see, is this school district on the planet?
Unfortunately.
Is it on the planet in the state where I live?
No.
Okay, what state is it in?
It's in Kentucky. You were just here recently.
I'll be happy to help you with that. Okay. That's bologna sauce, and I'm not a big fan of bologna sauce. That is straight OCR all day long, and y'all, Christina, just go ahead and tell her that, my phone number is 1-800-SIZZLE. These gas prices are high. I'm happy to come alongside with you and partner for a different That's just, is it the same campus?
It is not the same one, but it is near it.
Is it WC?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to fix that.
That kind of went along with my second question, which if you're...
She's not... Okay, I'm sorry. Are you a mole? Did you make that? Is this like a made-up question, Tiffany? I'm just kidding. No. Just when I say I think
I think my Chatterbox friends want to drive over there now.
Yeah, Tanya, in the bottom, Tiffany, she's going to drive us all there from... She has a big car. And she's going to drive us because I'm going to be doing live TV things from there. Yeah. Okay, tell me your second question, kiddo.
The second question I had was, I went to the last school board meeting hoping that might get some resolution. It did not.
No.
I've tried reaching out to the superintendent. Since then, it's been almost a month.
Don't listen to me. Don't ever listen to me. Y'all don't reach out to the superintendent. You know what the superintendent is? Who knows? What do they do? You ever see a superintendent mob? They don't do jackalope. They're professional jackalopians. I don't know what that is. They don't do anything. They don't even vote at a school board meeting. If you want to wreck somebody's world, you call one of us. Because we will wreck their world, and we will drive up and do a live feed with ABC News in front of your school district.
Fair enough.
Okay? And I love, you guys have the loveliest people, and we can go to Churchill Downs and get some salt and pepper shakers. Did she just say that her child can't have an IEP? And she said, okay, I'm fine. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay. Okay, did you have another question, Christina, or you're just still hands? Got my hands up. Okay. Angelique, did you have another question?
Can I do a live news for the district?
If you'd like to be unemployed. Yeah, you sure can. Yeah. Benefits I don't have, but I got some merchandise. Okay? All right, well, you guys are amazing. Why can I not leave? Y'all are so funny. Yes, Bonnie raised her hand. Yes, Bonnie. You guys should hire Bonnie. She seems nice, but she's just back there with her Novocaine knife. She was my first quitter. She was so sweet. She came to my first class, sat in the back really quiet. I was like, whatever. But she's like this. Wah! Like you never see it coming. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So, just a quick question. My one of my clients is in the special education evaluation process and wanted to get accommodations put in place through 504. Her daughter has ADHD, documented, diagnosed, and everything. And the director said no, they're just going to monitor her between now and the end of January.
Are they going to monitor with like a blood pressure cuff?
That was her email back.
What is? Yeah. So
she will just monitor. We don't need a 504 right now. Well, she said we don't need a 504 evaluation.
Yeah, so there is a 504 evaluation. So let's say it all together, kids. Should you choose to deny me, whatever, please provide that denial in writing by close of business in a prior written notice. Should you choose to deny me, whatever, please provide that denial to me in writing by close of business and a prior written notice. And usually you'll hear, well, hold on.
Well, she said that the special ed evaluations right now are exceeding the requirements.
Wow, this sounds like Yeah. Is this in the great state where we live?
Yes, this is the great state where we live, and this is where they brought that lovely lawyer, to talk about like the initial meeting where we're not even involved yet. And
I'm happy to give you an assist on that, because obviously it sounds like you misunderstood, sweetie. I'm sure that's not what they meant. Maybe like you had a bad headphone on. Yeah. We're super busy. Guess what super busy gets you? An exemption? No, there's never going to be an exemption in special education. There was an exemption for COVID. There's never going to be an exemption for providing a student special education and related services. If it sounds like a lie, it is, which is why you kids need to join the academy and be part of the posse. This is an amazing posse, because we are resourcing people, training teachers, diagnosticians, principals. We have a superintendent on the academy because you guys are all smarty pants and want the information, and we want to provide it to you in a way that's effectual to change kids' lives. So we will see you next week at, what is it? Next week at the same bat time. So 8 p.m. Central, we'll put a TikTok event, and we can see all of my outfits, and we'll take your questions in. But thanks for joining. We'll see you guys in the next training.